لا يزال الخير حيا لا يزال إن في الدنيا سلاما وظلال.
And you fight them. Wait, I haven't finished. Yeah, it can be offensive war as well. Exactly. I'm not saying only defensive war. But you're talking about pirates, which is a completely different thing. Now, pirates capturing free people is not something that Islam considers as legitimate, because that's not really a war, is it? It is more like vagabonds going and killing people. It's like the European pirates who used to go and kill other people. So don't tell me just because you had some pirates from Muslims captured people in Cornwall, that is an illegitimate. You cannot, like the Europeans used to have slaves. Yes, they used to take any free African or Asian or anybody else, and they used to enslave that. In Islam, that is not permitted. You cannot take a free man or a woman as a slave. The only ones you can take as captives is the ones who are fighting you.
No.
Only in a war, yes.
You can invade a country and then they are fighting you.
Yeah, but you didn't have the United Nations then. So invading countries was quite normal at that time.
Quite normal.
It was, yes.
So you can go around invading countries.
My friend, it was like. So how do you think the world went around at that time? How?
So do you think it's acceptable?
Any country.
Do you think it's acceptable to go to another country?
At that time, it was, yes.
So you think
it was, yes. Okay. Why do you think people like King Arthur and all are made the heroes when they used to go and invade other countries?
You didn't mention this.
No, they didn't.
Defensive.
Oh, really? So the Europeans only went to defensive wars? Are you for real?
No. But
you guys are the colonialists, for God's sake.
You're
the last people to tell us about invasions of other countries.
You're the original colonialists.
Really? Show me when.
Because the whole of Islam's expansion was colonialism.
Are you saying people before Islam did not colonize anyone? What do you think the Jews did? What do you think the Jews did? What do you think the Jews did to the Canaanites? Are you going to answer that question? What did the Jews do? You said we were the original. I'm telling you, the Jews came before the. Do you agree?
No.
Do you? You don't agree the Jews came before?
No, I agree with that, but I don't.
Did they invade any countries? Did they invade any countries? Did they invade any countries?
Islam.
Did they invade any countries? Did the Jews? Did the Jews?
Yes, they did.
Okay. So who are the original? Who are the original? See it? Look, he's reluctant now. For the Muslims, he'll say they were the original. But as soon as he's been schooled about the Jews, he doesn't want to say. Who are the original? Say it.
You're before us, though.
Say it.
You're before us.
Before who is us? Who is us? Who is us? Wait. Who is us?
The West.
The West.
What about Roman Empire? What would they do?
Actually, you're right. The West was educated by the East.
Teach us to invade people.
No. When you were living in the Dark Ages, when you were praying to the bones of your priest, yes, we had the golden era. The mathematics and the astronomy was in our was on our turf. Yes.
Algebra.
Muslims taught you how.
That is the original. That is the original. He will not talk about.
That was in Spain.
No, exactly. It was the Muslims who went to Spain.
Yes. Invasion.
No. Wait. Like I told you, invasion at that time wasn't a bad thing. That was a norm.
So
it was a norm.
Muslim invasion is
yes,
good.
The Jews invaded, the Christians invaded, the Muslims invaded, the atheists invaded, the pagans invaded, the Hindus invaded, all of them invaded. Don't you worry. Okay? Now wait a minute. Before the United Nations was formed, you don't know that the rule of the law was basically whoever is the mightiest would take the flag and hoist it in the country, and that becomes theirs.
Well, that's what you want. That's what Islam will do again.
Give me something.
He's always near. Jesus Christ is alive.
Okay, so you need to put things into perspective. I'm not saying all Muslims are saints. I'm saying we have our own share of black sheep. But you need to realize that the number of killings is far greater than any Muslim army has ever done in history for both the atheists and the Christians. That's for sure.
Not for sure.
That's for sure.
Look at the Holocaust. What about that?
Yeah, who was responsible for that? Don't tell me the Muslims. Who was responsible for that? Say it.
The Muslims. We were fighting against them, the Nazis.
No. When you say we, remember earlier he said the West. Let's ask him who's the we now. Who's the we now? Who's the we? Who's the we?
England.
You see, these are the double standards we have to deal with.
It wasn't Jesus, was it? It wasn't Jesus.
Where did Jesus come from in the middle? Wrong conversation, mate. All right, listen. what I'm telling you is that if you look at history, it was definitely the West, the atheists, the Christians, for example, who invaded other countries and made them their slaves for sure, and also killed genocide, massive genocide on massive scale.
He taught love thy neighbor, love thy enemies, pray for them, love them, don't kill them.
And what will he do after he comes in his second coming? What will he do in the second coming?
You can't compare God. You tell God what to do.
What will he do in the second coming?
You tell God what to do.
What will he do?
You tell God what
He
to do.
says, "Bring my enemies in front of me and slay them."
No,
if they do not believe me to be
It's a story.
parable about
It's a
whom?
story.
About whom?
Well, a king.
About whom?
A king.
Well, who's that king?
It's a story.
Who's the king?
It's not real.
In the parable,
It's not
who's the king?
Jesus said,
In the
love
parable,
thy
the one who will do the killing is
pray for
Jesus.
them.
So go away.
Love them.
All right. So anyway,
Love them.
what I'm telling you, look at history and put things in context and look at it. Just ignore
Love thy
it.
neighbor.
Background noise. So what I'm saying is that you look things in perspective and don't actually look at it anachronistically.
What I'm saying is,
Because I don't know what you hated about Muslims is. Because throughout these discussions, you've been blaming Muslims for everything. Is there a reason you hate the Muslims?
I hate a lot of things about Islam.
Why? What is it you hate about Islam?
I hate sex
Give me
slaves,
one.
for example. Sex slaves.
But I just explained to you, sex slaves are not the sex slaves, the European kind.
It's just as bad. Just as bad.
What do you mean just as bad? In Europe, you can take a free man and make them your slave at that time. Yes? Before, that was the downfall of the Israeli flag there. Okay, so what I'm saying is this. If at that time, this was a norm, slavery was a norm at that time. But now wait. What you're trying to do is you're trying to use a 21st century norm, and you're trying to, this is called anachronistic understanding of history. Now, if you realize that at that time, it was okay to have slaves, but you see what Islam did? Islam actually narrowed down the sources of slavery. At that time, anyone could be a slave. Anyone. Any free man or woman can be enslaved, but Islam said no, that is all illegal. The only way you can actually have captives is the ones who fight you and the one you fight. And then if they were overpowered, you take them as captives. And this is the only source.
That's horrible though.
Really? Wait. No, wait. When you say horrible, you're judging by the 21st century, aren't you not?
Is Islam the same for all time?
Islam is same?
Exactly.
What do you mean?
Don't they say it's unchanging? Muhammad is an example
Exactly.
for all time.
Yes, he is. So what's the problem?
How can you say that applies to
Okay, I'll tell you what. You give me one of your heroes from the past.
No, you change the subject.
No, I'm not.
Exactly.
Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to say that look, we take the higher moral ground when our history completely is rotten.
Okay.
But then I have to judge you Muslims by your 21st century, our modern history, and completely ignore everything that happened in the past.
I don't ignore everything that happened in the past.
Double standards, basically.
But do you not celebrate them as your heroes? Do you not put Churchill on your £5 notes, for example? Why are they celebrated? Why are your heroes who massacred many people celebrated as heroes, but then you do not give us the same
He
courtesy?
didn't massacre many people.
How many did he massacre?
Churchill.
Churchill during the World War II.
Yeah, but that was a
What did he go? He went and gave roses to the Nazis. Mr. Nazi, Mr. Hitler, here's a rose for you. Mr. Mussolini, here's a rose for you. Yes, Mr. Stalin, here's a rose for you. Don't give me that rubbish.
We were fighting the Nazis.
Exactly, and we were fighting the pagans.
What about the Crusaders?
Why do you think the pagans marched all the way to Medina to kill the Meccans?
Are you saying
the army of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
But I'm saying that your values then, they're the same as your values now.
No, values. By values, what do you mean? What do you mean by values?
Sex slaves, for example. You think sex slaves is okay now?
You know what I see
right.
as sex slave
Yeah,
today?
amen.
Wait. Do you know what the modern day sex slave is?
Yes.
The prostitution that happens
in London,
and the one that is
in Amsterdam.
responsible.
Do you think
in London, prostitution,
That is called sex slavery. Yes. And you know most of these people who are actually working in this industry, they're actually brought in as literal
traffic
slaves.
from other countries to the UK.
And Jesus had no sex slaves.
Traffic.
But why do you think?
Traffic.
In the Old Testament, he did.
How can you justify
The
that?
same Jesus in the Old Testament.
There is no prostitution in Saudi Arabia, but there's prostitution here.
Pornography.
Jesus had sex slaves.
Pornography and
Jesus
I'm not
prostitution
talking to you.
is basically something that is
Jesus Christ.
rampant in European countries. Yes. Now for you to completely ignore all that, do you think that is good?
ignoring that.
Do you think women should be treated like that? not?
No.
You're trying to defend those sex slaves by the Muslim armies.
You're
but
literally
then,
defending
but
sex
then the
slaves.
21st century sex slaves
You're
is okay.
literally defending sex slaves.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Yes, you are. That's what he's trying to say. Today's society.
What I'm saying, listen. What I'm saying is that when the Muslims used to march to war at that time, yes, these women used to come. Can I finish my statement? These non-Muslim, these pagans, the families used to go along with the men, and they used to be dressed. The women used to be dressed in ornaments and with the best clothes, because they knew that if they were captured, they were going to be taken as captives of war. They knew this already. So why do you think they went and accompanied their husbands in the war? Why? Why? We did not take them from the houses like the way the Europeans did. Yes? We did not take them and shackle them like the way the Europeans did.
So Islamic sex slavery is good.
No, it's not called sex slavery at all. You're using your standards.
European analogy.
You're using your standards and putting it on the Muslims.
Islam murder is good. Islam killing.
So hold on a second.
What about your murder and slavery? The murdering that happens by the drones that are thousands of miles away and killing innocent women and children. Do you think that's okay?
No, but they're not doing.
When did you ever condemn that?
I would condemn it.
Go on. Let me hear it. Let me hear it.
If they're doing on
Let me hear
If
it.
they're doing on purpose,
Of course they do it on purpose. You're talking about thousands of miles away, bombing people. Do you really think they can actually pinpoint one person and kill that person?
they're normally going
If that was the case, why didn't they kill Saddam Hussein like that? Why did they have to invade an entire country and kill 500,000 people? Why?
They didn't kill 500,000 people.
They did. Go and do the maths.
The Muslims are killing 500,000 people.
Where? Show me where.
The Muslims
Where?
are all ISIS. They're all Muslims. If you look at who's in ISIS,
Who's in ISIS?
they're all Muslims.
What? And who is the main victims?
Muslims.
Thank you very much. So why would you say that they are our people, the Muslims? We have nothing to do with these fringe groups called ISIS or Al Qaeda.
Yeah, but-
As far as I'm concerned, they are our enemies. But you see, your army is actually state terrorism. When you say your army bombs them, these are not fringe groups. These are legitimate armies which go and kill.
Are ISIS Muslims?
ISIS, they claim they're Muslims.
Are they
They
Muslims?
claim they're Muslims.
Are they Muslims?
Like I said, they claim they're Muslims. Okay, now let me ask you
Americans,
that.
are they?
Like I said, they're our enemies, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, but they're not Americans.
Are the Americans your enemies? Are the Americans your friends or your enemies?
Jesus said,
Well, they're more my friends than ISIS.
Good, so they are your friends, right? Well, ISIS is not my friend.
We dislike.
So your friend is doing the killing, and wait a minute.
No, they're not. People that claim they're Muslims.
But they're doing it for Islam.
And to be honest with you,
Look. Just because somebody claims they are Muslims doesn't make them Muslims.
In their head, they're doing it because of Islam.
Have you checked the head?
I've seen what they say.
Oh, what do they say?
It's all Quranic verses.
Yes, and that makes them Muslim, really.
Well, that's what they think.
You can read the Quranic verse.
You can read a Quranic verse.
You can read
go
the
and
Quran.
read.
Will that make you a Muslim?
No, but
If you read a Quranic verse, or if Tommy Robinson read Quranic verses, will that make them Muslims?
but they think they're doing it in the name of Islam.
Who's doing it?
They are.
Oh my God! Look, people can do many things in the name of other people. Doesn't legitimize it.
But they're doing it. They're doing it because they think.
And who do you know? The American army. Listen. The people you were just condemning, Tony Blair. He does it in your name.
No, he didn't do it in my name.
Yeah, he did it in the name of Britain.
on behalf of
Are you not British? Are you not British?
He did it.
Are you not British?
He wasn't quoting.
Are you not
he
British?
wasn't quoting some. But they are.
He was the Prime Minister, for God's sake. You elected him. What more you want?
That time.
It doesn't matter. Majority of you elected him. That's how he came to power. So the majority of the people are actually legitimizing this war in Iraq then.
Yeah, but I'm saying the problem is Islam.
Which problem?
Because
you're an Islamophobe, are you? Are you not?
Yeah, I am.
Yes, you are. Good. At least you admit
really
it.
scared of him.
Okay. So tell me, what is the problem with Islam? You mentioned sex slaves. What else? Go on,
ISIS.
carry on.
People like ISIS.
Okay, ISIS, they're my enemies as well. What else?
Okay, child brides.
Child brides.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of your kings married like 6 years old, 7 years old.
So what do you think about child brides?
Okay, first and foremost, what do you understand by child bride?
9 years old.
Okay, 9 years old. In this country, What is the age at which you can get married?
You have proof.
No, wait. Wait, wait. We're coming to that. No, what age can a girl get married here in this country?
16, I think.
16, okay. What was it 100 years ago? What was it 100 years ago? Because you're doing it again. You're using anachronistic examples from Islamic history from 1400 years ago, and you're trying to judge it from the 21st century. How many Muslims you know? How many Muslims you know that desire child rights?
Quite a lot.
Really? Name me one. Name me one. Let's see if you know. Name me one.
Well, the legal age in Iran.
No. You said quite a lot. Do you know any?
Yeah.
Name me one.
I spoke to many on internet forums.
Online?
Yeah.
How do you know they were even Muslims? And why were you asking them if you desire child rights? Are you in some child pornography?
No.
Because most of the child pornographers are white British people in this country who are caught. Yes. Yes. Majority of them.
What about
Majority of them.
What about all the Pakistani Muslims?
Yes. I'm not saying no. There are some.
Many.
Wait.
80% of grooming gangs in this country. 80%.
80%. Where do you get your numbers from?
80% of grooming gangs.
Yes. Are who?
Pakistani Muslims.
Really? Where do you get your numbers from?
This is official.
Where's your evidence? Show me the evidence. Show me the evidence. You just said it, I'll believe it? That's nonsense.
That's true.
It's utterly nonsense.
If I can prove it.
Yeah, prove it. I'll believe it.
80%.
If you can believe from a legitimate source that it is 80% of all the child porn in this country.
I said of grooming gangs.
What is grooming gang?
Yeah, define grooming gang.
Grooming gang? Preparing them for marriage, or like actually like taking them on
Grooming gangs are these groups of Pakistani men.
Oh, it's a group of Pakistani men only.
Yes.
All right. What do you consider as child pornography?
By his unbelief.
What do you mean?
Or child molesters? Or pedophiles? Who are majority of the pedophiles in this country? The white
By his adultery.
men.
That's because we're,
Yes?
that's because we're the
And this
majority.
got nothing to do with race. This is by what do you say? By statistics. Okay, in this country, if you go and check it out, you can. So you agree they are the majority. Just now you were saying 80%.
No. I'm saying 80% of grooming gangs.
No, don't say. You're saying 80% of the Pakistanis are Pakistanis. Is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying 80% of grooming gangs in this country.
Yeah, but grooming gang is what? There's no such thing as a grooming gang.
these are words
A term.
No.
getting from the media?
No.
You're misallocated.
A grooming gang is a group of men
That prey on like, young girls. Yeah.
young girls.
Yes.
I think Muslims are going to do that, honestly. Like,
And do the white pedophiles not do this?
No, not the same way.
So in which way do they do it?
They do it individually.
So you think that's good? No.
Did I say that's ridiculous?
How do you know it's individually? Many of these gangs have been they have been caught colluding together and basically sharing not only the pictures and the videos, but they were actually involved in this. Yes, that is called a gang. A group is called a gang.
Online.
Okay.
individually online, still connected though.
You know, but
These grooming gangs have sex. These grooming
These men, to work together, and get these, yes,
they are.
these children, take pictures of them specifically, come together.
You should read the paper sometimes.
That's disgusting, mate.
It looks like he only reads Daily Mail and he sees only the Muslim gangs.
Exactly, you've been brainwashed.
No, the grooming gangs. This is 50 men with white girls having sex in an apartment.
In an apartment. And this happens all over the country, is it?
Yes.
Yes, and you got and where do you think the police are doing? Nothing about it?
Not much.
Really? So whom should you blame?
The perpetrators.
By the way, that is not Islam.
Not the police.
Even if what you're saying is true, which I know is not true, it's not 80%.
It is.
Okay, because the pedophiles, 80% are not Muslims. Trust me, they're not. Okay,
I'm talking about 80% of the gangs.
but which gangs? You have just made up this term.
I've got sources.
Yeah, go on. Let's see the sources.
I know you won't believe anybody.
By the way, are you one of the Tommy Robinson gangs?
No.
No, you're not. What do you think of him?
I think it's okay.
You think he's an Islamophobe? Like you?
Is he an Islamophobe? Yes, of course he
Yeah,
is.
like
Yes.
minds think alike.
Yeah, okay, so
Okay.
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What age do you think a girl should be allowed, the minimum age to get married?
What age? Based on what? Based on the country or based on the
No,
religion?
based on religion.
Based on the religion. So, depending on the country's law, for example, I'm telling you, I'll answer the way I want. I'll answer the way I want. Yes, I'll answer the way I want. Do you mind? In this country, we don't have the Sharia. So, we do not have an Islamic law.
I know that.
Can I answer the way I want?
No, you
Without you
take your
interrupting?
Just
Okay, if you don't have time, come back next time when you have time. But I'm not going to rush it for you.
Just tell me.
I will answer.
Okay, yeah.
I will answer
Sharia, please.
correctly. Yes, Sharia. Do we have Sharia in this country?
Just answer according to
No, but
Sharia.
it's important. I get feedback from you as well. Do we have Sharia in this country? Good. So in this country, it's not permitted. Okay? In this country, you follow the law of the country. Otherwise, it's illegal for you. Now, if you were in a Sharia country, Sharia compliant country, then you follow the law of that land. Yes? For example, if you went in that country and you wanted to drink alcohol, you won't get alcohol because it won't be served to you. Similarly,
how long is he going to...
I gave you the answer already. You follow the law.
Then you have a Sharia country
Yes.
with a Sharia law. What is the age
Okay,
limit?
so good. You're coming now. You're making more specific. So in a Sharia compliant country, where you have Sharia compliancy, and this is the law, then the law is this. The law is the same as in the Jewish and the previous religions and in Islam, yes, which is at the age of puberty. So when puberty sets in, and there's more. I haven't finished. At the age of puberty, and until they have a mind which is capable of taking that experience of marriage as being something that they can take on.
And how old was Aisha when she got married?
Aisha, at the time, again, you're talking about 1400 years ago.
Yeah?
Yes, she was 9 years old.
When she got married?
At the age of 9.
When she got married?
At the age of 9.
When she got married?
I told you at the age of 9.
No, that's when she had sex. When did she get married?
Oh, at the age of 6.
Yes.
Yes.
So do you think she had a mind, 6 years old, decided to get married?
At that time, that was the norm.
Do you think she had a mind at 6 years old?
No, that's why she didn't get married. Sorry, that's why she did not have sex.
Did you believe it, Aisha?
Did you believe it? Okay.
Do you believe it?
By the way, do you know how? Habibi, wait a minute. Listen. Do you know how old was Mary when she got pregnant? The mother of Jesus at the age of 12. But do you think a 12-year-old girl is ready to get pregnant based on today's standards? All right. So you're going to blame all the Christians that their God's mother shouldn't have been made pregnant by their God. But why do you use this double standards? Wait, why don't you blame the Christians or the Jews who used to have the same norm at that time? Yes, used to get married at a very young age. Even some of the English kings, they got at the age of 6 and 7. The law of this country, the legitimate age at which you could get married less than 100 years ago was something that you would consider as pedophilia. Many countries today in Europe, many countries in Europe, like Italy, for example, do you know what the age of marriage over there is? Even today?
Yeah, but
what is it?
I don't know.
Do you think 14 years old, like just maybe a few decades ago at least, okay? All these countries which you are overlooking are European countries where they have the sex laws changed, because you see the law changes. It is a law in this country, do not get married at the next age. But you see, many of the young girls today are getting pregnant, teenage pregnancies. Why do you think it's on the rise? And don't tell me Muslim grooming gangs are responsible.
It's partly to do with Muslim.
Yes. But what about the rest of them who are not being groomed and they're getting pregnant? Why do you think that is?
But the thing is...
Why do you think that is? Do you think that is right for a teen to get pregnant before she reaches the age of 14, 12 even, and sometimes even less than that?
But you have just justified having sex with a girl when she's just hit puberty.
No, I said if she had the mind, the state of mind when she can get married. Because you see, and you see, look, that is not something that every Muslim desires to do. Most of the Muslims, even though the Muslims can marry more than one wife, many of them have only one wife. Even though it is legitimate in the Sharia law for them to get married to a girl who has reached puberty and has a state of mind where they can be married, even then they don't, because you see, this is not something that is compulsory for the Muslims. At that time, there were other reasons, not just for marrying young girl. During the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why do you think he married only one girl who was not either widowed or divorced? Most of the other women were actually of a much bigger age. They were not virgins. Yes. Now you tell me, if he was really a womanizer and if he was really after sex with children, then don't you think there would be more?
It's true though, it's a very valid point. You're talking about what we're talking about is social consensus, yeah? Social consensus changes, yeah?
Yes.
Over the course of time, like the age limit for marrying has gone up and up and up and up.
Was the age limit for Italy to get married?
But we're talking about, he's saying that you're double standard. You know, Christian faith, Jewish faith.
By the way, in America, do you know in America, in many of these Christian groups, they have child marriages to this day, because some of the states in America, they do not have a minimum age of marriage. So there are a lot of child marriages in America today.
Yeah, but
today, what are you going to do about it? I've never heard you actually condemn any of those Americans.
Mormons many for
you condemn it.
Do I condemn it?
In America.
Yes, if it is illegal, then yes.
No, but in the Sharia, you don't condemn it.
Yes,
you support it.
Like I said, in a Sharia compliant country, wait, you know, this is what I'm trying to say. Why should they comply by your laws in another country? Do you comply?
If you were setting the laws, if Sharia law says 9 years old.
Okay, you know what? Do you condemn abortion? No, do you condemn abortion? A girl and a boy who are not even born, yes, he would actually say it's okay because in my country they allow you to murder these little children who are still in the belly of the mother. Would you condemn that? Are you going to answer that question?
You think it's okay to have sex?
Is it okay to kill? Is it okay to? I've already answered the question. Look, what you're doing now, you're repeating yourself. I've already answered your question very clearly. Yes. Now answer my question. Would you condemn abortion?
Well, I'm just rather sick of all the things. Sick of all the things.
Are you sick of abortion?
I'm sick.
Are you sick of abortion?
Abortion, I think, is okay in a very.
It's okay to kill children in the belly of the woman. Yes, that is okay. But a 9-year-old cannot get married if she's reached an age when she can actually get married.
In the early stages, yes.
What do you mean early stages?
Like in a first.
Why should a life be killed?
If it's a few cells.
Even if it's a few cells, doesn't matter. It has a potential of life.
It doesn't count.
It does count because that is life which you're killing and which you are now legitimizing as being it's okay to murder.
It hasn't got a conscience. It hasn't got any pain.
How do you know it doesn't have pain?
It hasn't got any pain sensors.
By the way, do you know up to what age they can actually abort?
I think it's probably quite late.
Like how? How many weeks?
I don't know.
When the consciousness is developed.
When the consciousness has developed.